हाय तेरी रुमाला गुलाबी मुखड़ी केवली छजीरे नाक की नथुनी केवली छजीरे
A
नाक
very warm welcome to everybody. I'm Nina Kler, and I'm really excited to be having this conversation with Kavita Khosa, who is the founder of the award winning beauty brand called Pure Earth, and also the author of this amazing book called Beauty Unbottled Timeless Ayurvedic Recipes and Rituals. And Kavita, my dog, I think is educated because in your foreword, in your introduction, you've written about how you wish this book to be dog eared. She's chewed the corner already.
How sweet is that?
First day, the day it got delivered, Hazel went to town with it. So,
How sweet.
how
Hazel,
are you,
how
Kavita?
lovely.
Yes.
I'm
How are
very
you?
well, thank you. I'm good, I'm good. How are you?
Very well. I was, yesterday we recorded with Kelly and we were talking about how excited we all were to experience the real Himalayan Echoes Festival. And unfortunately,
I know.
rain has played truant and been very unkind. I mean, Ankita is here with us right now recording, and Janvi's put in so much effort as the entire team has
Exactly.
probably. Yes.
Yes.
So,
But here we are, and we'll have a fantastic conversation, I'm sure.
yes, lovely. And thank you for taking the time. I know you're between flights in a hotel. Really appreciate this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but no worries. Yeah.
So, when I picked up the book, when it got delivered, I thought, oh, it's a book of recipes and rituals. And it's just a
Huh.
book. And like I told you the other day when we spoke, it's not a book, it's like a Bible, because I feel that the kind of work that you put into it, one wants to keep referring to it over and over again. So clearly a labor of love. But
Yes.
but before Kavita, we jump into the book, I think it's really important for the audience to know about your journey from Wall Street to wellness. So if you could talk a bit about that, please.
Of course, sure. So Wall Street to wellness, I think I've come back full circle because Wall Street was sort of an aberration, if you will. I grew up in a mohalla in Pune. It was a very interesting the surroundings that I grew up in. I very, very much, Ayurveda was very much an intrinsic part of our lives. Like I keep talking about my mother. I come home from school and she's putting goat milk, fresh goat milk, and the boy with the goat is standing there, and because there's a stina, and later on you find out that actually it is antibacterial, or like drinking raw donkey's milk at 4 in the morning, full of enzymes, and so I grew up with hakims and Ayurvedic vaidyas. There were no supermarkets, so that was part of my life, right? So it was but natural, and I'm also very inclined towards nature, the soil, the earth. So um, qualified as a lawyer, practiced as a lawyer, and eventually decided to hang up my boots. And then when I wanted to come back to India, it was the mountains that called, And yeah, and so in 2010, I started my journey back in India, reconnecting with my roots, and here I am.
The theme of the festival is calm, right? So it's I think creativity, arts, literature, and the mountains. So you have a
Right.
relationship with mountains. I
Yes.
mean, we will come to the company later, and I want you to talk about how you source from Kumau to, where is it from? Kumau to.
Well, across the Himalayan belt, everywhere.
Lovely, lovely. And I hadn't heard of the term A beauty before
Yes.
I. So what is A beauty, Kavita?
Well, Ayurveda is a bit of a mouthful to say. So every time you have to refer to, you have to say, Ayurveda says, Ayurveda this. So just coin A beauty because, there's K beauty, Korean beauty, which is so popular in India. And I thought, it's time for us to embrace our own Hamara Dharohar, our own sort of um, understanding what Ayurveda is and embracing it and adopting it in our daily lives. So, in my book, I just wanted to refer to our own Ayurvedic beauty as a beauty.
Lovely. So you coined the term. We should sort of trademark that. Trademark it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the festival theme is calm. I'd love to know what are the inner rituals that you prescribe to?
So in the morning, it's inner beauty reflects outwardly, right? So you definitely have to, the food that you eat, your outlook towards life, aapka mizaj, your temperament, that contributes to beauty. We talk about noor, we talk about glow, we talk about ojas, tejas. It all is a combination of you as a person, right? The aura that you radiate. So it's food, it is lifestyle habits. Ayurveda calls it ritucharya, dinacharya. Ritucharya is seasonal. You eat seasonally, you behave seasonally. When it's cold, you wear warm clothes. When it's summer, you wear linens. So similarly with food, with lifestyle habits, what you do in the morning when you wake up, what you do when you sleep. My book addresses a lot of all of this, but from the lens of beauty. So I talk about the doshas, I talk about the food and identifying them through taste. That just becomes so easy. It becomes intuitive once you understand the taste and its post-digestive effect. It's like learning the ABCs of the English language. Then you can string sentences and you can write books. So it's understanding the basics of Ayurveda. So my ritual in the morning is a lot of Ayurvedic practices, throughout meditation and yoga and eating seasonally, eating locally, bedtime rituals. When you talk about beauty, hair oiling and massage, abhyanga, facial massages, uptans, lepans. It's just the whole beautiful world of, Ayurveda that I love embracing. So yeah, those are my rituals.
Genetically, and this is my excuse, I tell everybody, genetically, my hair is like this. I'm just wondering that what role of genetics is there when it comes to, your overall well-being? Can Ayurveda rectify something like that? So say, for example, my mother at 79, she has very scanty hair, and I'm afraid that that might happen to me as well. Can you change genetics?
You can't change it, but you can improve it. So it's called Pitruja, hair, Kesha. It is, and I think I've written in my book about it's Pitruja, which means I know a lot of people think you take your hair genes from your mother, but my teacher has taught me in Ayurveda it is from your father. So, like men with their male balding pattern, it follows the father. Now, genetics plays a very important part, but you can improve upon it because human beings, it's evolutionary, right? So, you can improve upon it and you can definitely arrest certain traits. So, if you, like me, also, I want to talk about in Ayurveda, you have your doshas. So, your doshas are determined at the point of conception. So, the ova and the sperm, when they meet, that's the point, that's the time that your dosha is determined. That's called Prakriti. It will never change throughout your life. Never, ever. But there's something called Vikriti. So that will not change. So, like, for example, me, I think, I mean, I'm Samadosha, but when I was a child, I had dry skin. Literally, Puna's dry weather. My legs used to look like snake skin, dry, like, don't ask what. And all the mustard oil massages and all the, but my feet, my legs look like, going to school, uniform, socks. And I used to always be so embarrassed because it looked like snake skin, scaly skin. But today, look at my skin. I mean, it is smooth as a baby, smooth as a baby to touch, to look at. How did that happen genetically? My constitution is different, but it changes with geography, with your dietary habits, how you take care of yourself. So, for sure, if your hair is thin, you can prevent it from thinning further with using Ayurveda recommends very nice herbs that you can use to massage your hair, to basically take care of your hair. So yes, you can definitely beat nature, if you will.
When I was doing this questionnaire, actually in 2004, a family friend of ours came from America. She took a semester off. She was studying medicine and she wanted to sort of imbibe Ayurveda into her practice. So she took a semester off and she stayed with us. So then, of course, I was the guinea pig. Come here, do the massage. Come here, do the questionnaire. And
Yeah.
I want to say at that time, I was in my 20s and I was a kapha. And now when I'm doing this, it seems like I'm a pitta and vata. Is that the right
Okay.
pronunciation?
Yeah. So see, it's interesting, isn't it? Let's see, Ayurveda is not cookie cutter. Maybe you were in your teens. Now, uh, the seasons govern our constitution. Age governs our constitution. If you are a toddler, you're going to be more kapha. Kapha is an age of kapha dominance generally. Teenagers is the age of pitta, fire and turbulence, and hormones raging, heat.
Tell
It
me about
manifests as
it.
pimples. Huh?
I said, tell me about it. I have a 15-year-old full on fire right now.
See, there you go. So that's the age of fire, pitta, heat. Whether it's your skin, whether it's your temperament, right? Then you come to the age of vata, like when you're in your 60s, 70s, your skin starts drying, your synovial fluid dries, you get arthritis, joint pain, hair gets dry. So that's the age of vata. Vata is, dry. So it's also age related, You're born with something, and then due to many factors, your constitution changes. So you need to understand to be able to keep it in balance.
So I'm sure the audience would be wondering, right? And I know a lot of people find it very daunting to launch on any sort of journey. So,
Yeah.
what would you recommend to somebody who says, "Okay, you know what? I want to take my beauty into my own control." So, how do they launch upon this journey of a beauty? What would your recommendations
Read
be?
my book, get my book. It literally, no, not, I'm not trying to like plug my book here. I have really written this book because I want people to have the ABCs of a beauty, not just a beauty, understanding. And I've also talked in the latter chapters about about yoga, about pranayam, about foods, superfoods. So really, this book is, I would say, really a good a beauty bible if you want to start on the journey of understanding your skin, uh, and not just Ayurveda, but from a modern science perspective as well. Understanding your skin, understanding your hair, understanding your constitution, understanding foods, ingredients, botanicals, recipes, the what and the why and the how, and putting it all together in a very simplified way. And if you want to know the research behind it, then I've got a bibliography. And of course, there's Google, So there's Google, you can research, really. You can do a lot of research on Google as well. And then the other thing is to go and do a course. So there's so many ways of sort of starting on this journey of incorporating Ayurveda in our daily life.
So when this friend of mine came and stayed with us, it was a lifetime ago, but she introduced me to a doctor, a very famous doctor. And I can't tell you, Kavita, you talk about family, you talk about your grandmother, your mother, your father, and all the stuff that you've learned from them. And there's a certain language of love that comes
Yeah.
across when you're
Yeah.
talking about them. Yeah. And I kid you not, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm sharing this, but I've been to that center, Dr. Sudha Shokan. I don't know if you're aware of her, Ayurvedic Kendra. Good Lord, every time I've gone there, they don't give you like a one-off session. So you have to do a week or 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes.
And it's not some fancy hotel. It's a center. It's an Ayurvedic clinic, right? But the ritual, oh my goodness, there are 4 women, and they're like ammas. They're like
Yeah.
so loving, so loving. You
Yeah.
know, uh, Sorry, is my voice not loud enough?
I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know. Ankita, for some reason, can't hear me. Yeah. So just the fact that when you go and you experience these rituals, every time I've gone there, I've felt so much warmth and so taken
Yeah.
care of. The way the rituals are done, the way they massage you, it's just so
Yeah.
beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
So I'd read your book and definitely go experience an Ayurvedic center. Really? So do you practice as well, Kavita? Do you take on clients?
Occasionally, I do. Yes. My work doesn't permit me to take. I get a lot of requests, but I take on very few clients. But I do, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Uh, so you mentioned food. So where does food figure into all of this?
We are what we eat. So whether we put it on our skin or put it in our system, we really are what we eat. If you eat good fats, good, ghee, you're going to have really good skin, good hair. If you're going to eat a lot of junk, it's going to show on your skin. It's going to show. When I say junk, I don't just mean, sugar and stuff like that. I also mean things like, it can be wheat, it can be rice, it can be soy, but if it is not from natural sources, if it's genetically modified, or if it's strains of rice or wheat that are or they're grown with a lot of pesticides and chemicals. So that's what I mean by good food. But yeah, food plays such an important role in health, and that health radiating in outer beauty.
Two things that really stood out to me. One, while reading your book, that you're not promoting your business, you're actually promoting Ayurveda. So it's wonderful that you're promoting Ayurveda. And secondly, I noticed that you're very conscious, very conscientious. So
Yes.
we talk a lot about conscious beauty and conscious consumerism. Could you talk a little bit about that? I think it'd be very educative for the audience.
Yeah, I just today I finished a whole day at a beautiful farm in Pune, learning permaculture. There was a permaculture workshop. See, basically, we need to understand that we are the whole of consciousness, the whole of the planet. We exist symbiotically. There is nothing. If the bees go, we go. The oceans give us, some, they say, 50% of the oxygen that we breathe. So we can live in a landlocked place and say, well, what do the oceans have to do with us? So conscious consumerism really is about being very aware of my food choices, my purchase choices, my consumption choices, and to say, if I'm buying this, how is it impacting not just me, my health, the health of my children, my family, but also our planet. If you take sunscreen, for example, the havoc it's causing with reefs. And why are reefs important to us? Because reefs are a part of the ecosystem of marine life. Every body gel that we buy, and I mean, everything that we're consuming in the bathroom, for example, we're showering every day, washing our hair, it's all going into the oceans. So you have to think, what is going into the oceans? Plastics, microplastics, they break down, you can't see them, they become invisible. We're now reading that some, distilled or whatever, bottled water contains 10,000 pieces of microplastic, which is not visible to the naked eye. So, we need to, it's conscious consumerism is about being aware, educating ourselves, making more responsible choices. Yeah. And my book is not promoting my brand, my business, because I teach you how to make everything and to be able to be self sufficient and independent in your own kitchen. So you don't need to buy anything ever again.
And when we were talking, Kavita, a couple of days ago, you said that, even if you don't care about the planet, it comes down to self-love, and the love
Yeah.
of your family, because whatever you do consume, it goes back into the ecosystem and comes back to us, via what we
Yeah.
eat and what we breathe and what we
Yeah.
swim in. So
That's right. That's right.
I was in Goa till 3 days ago. Good Lord, Kavita, we had to like drive God knows how many kilometers north to get a beach where it was clean and where it was safe enough to get into the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
We're
know,
seeing that more and more. Oil spillages by big corporations. I mean, yeah. In my book, I address a lot of that, like how to read labels, how to understand ingredients. Yeah.
so Kavita, I think at this point it might be really helpful if you explain how to read a label because most of us are clueless.
Okay, sure. How to read a label. See, let's talk about first personal care. Then we can even talk about foods. So, see, in personal care, whether it's shampoo, conditioner, a sunscreen, anything at all, right? Even makeup. You will see at the bottle or the packaging at the back of it, you will see in an ingredient list. Now, good brands will always give you every single ingredient, okay? Uh, it should go in descending weight order. So, if the product says rosehip seed oil, right? So then that should be at the top of the list at the back. Or if it's the only thing, then it should be the only thing at the back, right? But if you see 8 ingredients and it's number sort of 7, then it gives you an indication of the concentration of that ingredient in that product, right? So that's an indication. But unfortunately, there are no laws that require you to mention every ingredient on your label. Also, for example, in India, Ayurveda, which should change, I would love to lobby the government on this. You have all the good things you will list. You can say aloe vera, cucumber, papaya, amla, all of that. But where you're putting things like parabens and petroleum and toluene or all those harsh chemicals, preservatives, silicones, you don't need to mention it. You simply put QS, which means sufficient quantity. But those are the ones. See, you can have a glass of water, but all it takes is a few drops of something toxic to make this a very toxic drink. So that QS becomes very controversial in my opinion. But look for the label. Now, how to read the labels? It's not true that everything that's a mouthful and you can't pronounce is bad for you, because amla is called Garcinia indica. So you don't know what it sounds like. And also this whole thing, chemical free. Baba, even water is a chemical. H2O. So it's not about chemical free, and it's not about how complicated it sounds on the label. Again, here it's buyer beware. You really need to educate yourself. Google that ingredient. And there are, in my book, I have around, like I call it the dirty dozen, 12 ingredients that should be nowhere in your personal care. So I've listed them out. And of course, silicons. Today, toluene, DEA, MEA, petrolatum. I know there's this whole resurgence, especially on Instagram now, where a lot of board certified dermatologists are, they're calling it slugging. And they're saying, here, put this so much Vaseline, slug your skin, it's the best thing ever. And they say, oh, it's a dose that makes a poison. So if you're just using a little bit of Vaseline on your lips, what's the problem? The problem is not whether it's less or more. It is where it's extracted from, where it's sourced from, and where it's going, and what it does to our planet, as well as what it's doing to our system, our body system. And of course, there's the modern science view on skincare, and then there's the Ayurvedic, point of view. So reading labels is not a simple task. But for example, in my book, I have listed out things that you should not see, in any personal care. So, and of course, also they are known by different names. Some are like numbers, like in cosmetics. There are all these very coal tar dyes are now, almost you won't find them anywhere. But lead, you will still find, talc, you still find. And these are not things, these are not ingredients you want to be consuming. And also your skin eats. So sometimes, a lot of times, not sometimes, 70% almost of ingredients enter your bloodstream that you put on your skin. There's something called the 500 Dalton rule, which I've written about in my book. Now, the Dalton rule is basically molecular weight. If something is very viscous and thick, what are the chances of it penetrating your skin versus something that's really, the molecular weight. But Ayurveda says, for example, oils, modern science will say, oh, it doesn't penetrate your skin, or how much does it penetrate? Ayurveda says it penetrates all the way down to your seventh dhatu. Your seventh dhatu is your sperm, so it's going to go and impact your sperm as well. So, there are these different points of view, but you need to understand that what you are putting on your skin is going to cause good or going to cause a lot of harm. Make no mistake, it can cause a lot of harm. We're seeing young girls with PCOD, it's so rampant, right? We're seeing young girls with lumpectomies, it's so rampant.
Second, why do you believe that young girls are getting PCOD?
The food that we're eating, it is so laden with all kinds of, soil is contaminated. There is, the environment, there's so much pollution, there's so much stress. Quality of food is not good. Also, fast food. Uh, we're not eating the way we used to. We're consuming in such a mindless way. So, naturally, this is all going to impact our body. So we're seeing this, right? Young girls with PCOD. It's so rampant. It's shocking. We're seeing so much rashes, allergies, eczema. So much of it. This is a manifestation of impurities in the blood. The blood in Ayurveda, your blood and your skin have a very close connection. So if your blood is impure, it's going to show up on your skin, you know? So, reading labels, like I said, there are those, that dirty dozen that needs to be, they really need to be called out. And just read the label and understand. And then, you come to food, same thing, if it's genetically modified soy, corn, you want to avoid them. You want to avoid them. Yeah.
I was vegan a couple of years ago. So when I went to visit my best friend, her husband was trying to make me happy, be on my good side. So he went ahead and got a bunch of these amazing modified meat burgers. And good Lord, I love it. I went bonkers because I'm a Sadarni, first of all, right? So I was missing my meat. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then fast forward a couple of, I think 2 years later, they're really bashing it that it's not a good thing to have. It's totally manufactured. It's manufactured fake meat,
And it's dead. It's dead. There's no prana. There's no energy. It's dead food, yeah?
Yes.
Actually, if you really think about it, what is the nutritional value of that food? What is the vibrational pranic value of that food? So yeah, I mean, it might taste, see, in moderation. Even I go out, sometimes eat fries. I'll have to eat a chocolate, not chocolate, I don't like them, chocolate cake, so what, you have to, in moderation, enjoy certain things in life. But overall, you need to make these kind of conscious choices with your food. Yeah.
Kavita, I really appreciate the fact that, you went ahead and you educated yourself, right? I don't want to be controversial, but I do want to ask you this question. What are your thoughts of influencers, on social media promoting brands or, just giving their general gyan out there? I mean, for me, I'm supposed to be a wellness advocate, right? And I'm looking at content out there, and there are people who have zero education. There's so much that this entire fad of, say, face yoga, for example. Now, I don't understand why somebody's putting just a video of how I can do my cheeks. Dude, just doing my cheeks isn't going to work, right? You give me a full workout, explain to me the science or the rationale behind it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this age of social media, especially Instagram, it's a double-edged sword. It's great, because there's so much information, you can learn so much, so it's great. But equally, there's so much harm it can do, because little knowledge is dangerous, right? So you have all the new skin influencers. Everybody is a wellness guru now. And then you have, some of them have huge followings. So, and this whole age of, paid endorsements, right? So a skin influencer is using, I don't know, 30 different products every day, routine of 7 different skincare products every day. So many different, products they're trying out. How can you, that's a smorgasbord that your skin is, imagine a buffet every day like that. Can your gut, can your system tolerate it? No. Same thing with your skin, Baba. Same thing. The skin's microbiome, microbiota are so, it's magic. There is this magic in the way nature works. So if we go and disturb it by doing all these things, your pH, skin balance, your acid mantle, it all is going to freak out, which is why you have brands that are giving you so many things, and then they give you a buffet, and then they tell you how to, they call it even the buffet. I think one brand does that. It's a minefield. So I would say to anybody wanting to follow a skinfluencer, understand what their own ritual is, what their own routine is, what their education is. How have they? Is it just them, being some magazine beauty editor, or have they studied something, formally? um, and then you understand what is it that they're saying. If that resonates, if that makes sense, then you also try it out. And many of them are good, but most of them, it's dubious, and it's a bit worrying. Yeah, it is a bit worrying.
So I could keep asking you questions till the cows come home, but in the interest of time, I'm going to ask you one last question, which I want to personally know.
Mm.
That as a founder of a clean beauty brand, how difficult is it considering that we live in the times of fast fashion?
Ah, it's it's a challenge. It's an absolute daily uphill struggle, because everything is against you. You are producing artisan batches, micro batches, each ingredient. Sometimes you just miss the seasonal harvest. You have to wait another year. Then your production, sometimes batches can fail because it's so sensitive. The preservative systems that we use are almost, they're called no preservative. Oh, it's a challenge. And then for people, and the costing of it, and then for people to understand what is it that, they are, when they're purchasing it, what goes into it. Like, these macerations that we make, they take weeks and weeks. So it's really very difficult, to it's a challenge. But I love it. I wouldn't be doing anything else. I wake up every day excited, jump out of bed excited to meet all the challenges. I just love what I do.
How wonderful. How wonderful. So, to all the people who've tuned in today, thank you so much. And for those who are looking to get into this line of clean beauty, we have an example right in front of you. It's challenging, but it's absolutely worth it.
True.
Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you,
Thank
Kavita.
you. Thank you. Thank you.